Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video we are going to continue with the Azure Data Explorer, and a new language is being used for data querying and other analytics which we want to perform. This is popularly known as Kusto Query Language or KQL. So we are going to talk about it, how we could leverage that for getting data, for seeing certain analytics or doing certain operations within the data. In the previous video, we have already seen how to inject the data into the tables. So technically, we are going to now see fundamentally how we are going to use this Kusto Query Language to actually see and validate that data. Now, before we actually delve into the practical, a Kusto Query Language is only a read-only request to process data and return results. It is very much case sensitive. Even the column names are very much case sensitive, and I'll show you how they actually affect when you write down the query. And the Kusto Query Language is actually used in a plain text using a data flow model, like you go from one sequence to another with the help of pipe symbol, and it is very much easy to read, author, and automate. Technically, there are three kinds of query statements, which are tabular, let, and a set statement. But we are going to concentrate on the tabular expression statements within this video because it's an introductory video how we could start using KQL to actually query the data within Azure Data Explorer. And we'll be, of course, covering up these let and set statements in the coming videos. So the next one, before we could actually see that, let's try understanding a typical query within KQL. Now, if you see, I have a table name called as departments, the one which we used to ingest the data in the previous video. And I'm using a pipe symbol, and there is an operator called as project operator. So technically, I want to see department number and D name. Now here, I'm writing this department number and D name as capital case because my table has both the columns in the uppercase model. So if you try to write as a small case, it is going to result you an error because it is 100% case sensitive. Now the operators which are like used over here, project or whatever operator we use, we might be using a sort or group by or anything, they are sequenced by a pipe. So the order of the sequence of operators is very important because it tries to follow a sequence and then filter and regroup the results and then take it to the another operator, and that's how it is followed. So let's try and see how we could use Kusto Query Language within the Azure Data Explorer practically and start writing some basic queries in order to have a better understanding of the same. So friends, let's see how we could use the Kusto Query Language to get that data and see the data in action. In fact, I have two tables now. I have also imported a table which is a typical table within the Oracle database, like the sample database. So I have a departments table which has 3 columns, and I have an EMP table which has all these columns. And if you see, the column names are in upper cases, so they're case sensitive, and when I'm going to use it, I must use it in the same way. So the first query which we'll try to see is, let's say we'll just try to use, and you could use a double slash for putting up the comments out there to see all the records. Now, if I want to see all the records, it's very simple. You don't have to write a select query or anything. So you could just use departments, and then you just select that and then run that query, and it should typically give you the result. I'm just not refreshed it, so that's why it takes a little bit of a time to run that. So I've got 4 records, which looks fine. If I want to run it for, let's say, employees, so the table name is technically employee. If I just run that and say run, so I could see all the records which are there from the employee table. These are all the records with some data that has been imported from a CSV. Now let's move forward and say I want to project only certain columns. I don't want to project all the columns. So what I can do is I can do project certain columns. Now, if you want to do that, you could easily do it with the help of so you say employee, and use a pipe symbol, and then you get all the operators because I want, let's say, a projection. So you get a project and whatever column name you want. Now, if I say like ename and let's say EMP number and ename, something like this, technically I'm not using uppercase, it's a small case, so it starts giving me an error because this does not refer to any particular table because it's 100% case sensitive, so it is expecting it in the form of uppercase. So what we could do over here is we can just use an uppercase and employee name in the form of an uppercase, job, and salary. I want to see these columns. Okay, now if I try to run this, and now I'll be using a project operator, which works perfectly fine for us. It gives you all the data based upon that, and that's how you could actually start getting the projection. Now you could actually use multiple operators on the top of that. So let's say I want to use a sorting also. So let's say use of sorting. Sorting the data. Now what I could do is I can say employee, so I want to use the project, and I say EMP number, ename, job, salary, and let's say department number. This is what I want, but I want another which is like sort, and I just want to use by department. You could use any column, you could use multiple also, but I just want to use, so by department number, so I'll say by DPT number, and it still needs to be in uppercase because that's how it has been defined. So let's say if I just want to use it like this, I run this out here, and the department numbers are sorted, so they are sorted by default by the descending. And if I want, let's say, ascending order, so you could just use it in the form of a ascending order also. So it would just go on to the department number by the way you want. And you could have like multiple one also. So let's say if the two departments are same, you want to sort it by ename, so that you could also do. So you want it that way. So this is also done, but now the department number is 30. So within that, the enames would be sorted ascending. So within the 30, you see you get all the enames ascending in the order of their names. So that's how you could join that. Now, typically, I would also love to use a where condition, which is very much important for us. Use of where condition, because I don't want to see all the data. I want to filter those records. So I want to say, I want to get into EMP. I want to, let's say, where I just want to say department number is equal to, let's say, and I'll use an equal operator. I'll say 10 only. And I want to use, let's say, project, another one. I just want to use employee number, ename, department number, and let's say salary. So that's what I want to use. Now, if you want to use like this, do it like this, okay, which works like that. So I could use another where condition also, where I could actually get another where condition to get, or you could use an or operator or an and operator. So let's say if I want to use an or operator, or let's say an and operator, where I want the name is equal to Clark only. So what I can say is I can say ename is equal to Clark. So that's what I want. I just want this to run this. Make sure it just gives me one record. So yeah, it gives me one record only. Now that's how you actually start using KQL. So this is one of the basic introductions of KQL. You could actually start using, play with that. If you know the fundamentals of SQL, like how the SQL queries are used, DML, DDL, or other queries, select, insert, you could fundamentally understand. The fundamentals are same, but it's just the syntax or the way it is being interpreted that is different. So I hope, guys, this video is going to help you to understand what is a KQL, a Kusto Query Language, definitely used within Azure Data Explorer to visualize the data. We'll go on some other aspects of that in the next coming videos, and even we could add, the beauty of that is to add visuals on the top of that, and not over the visual directly. We could add a visual even with the query also. So that would come in the coming videos. So thank you, guys. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe it, and I wish you all the best.